Welcome to Navigating Hope, your compass to health empowerment. I'm Dr. Jaime Hope, steering you through healthcare, overcoming overwhelm, personal goals, and emergencies. We'll navigate the healthcare maze with actionable insights and real-world advice, unlocking the secrets to a healthier, more vibrant life. Join us to take control of your well-being and make informed decisions for your health and your future. Stay with us as we unravel the mysteries of medicine, wellness, and life's unforeseen challenges, helping you bypass the ER with a dose of knowledge. Stay tuned till the end of the episode with a recap of your actionable insights and a free gift. Let's chart a course to your well-being together. Okay, welcome back. I am so excited here to bring you Anna Lee. Let me tell you about this absolutely incredible woman. So she spent 17 years climbing the corporate ladder. In reading her bio here, achieving a senior leadership role. She even had a 4-year assignment in Switzerland, where she moved with her whole family and managed to run a real estate investment projects from overseas. Her life has always been busy, and I wonder if anyone in the audience can relate to that. Managing her corporate responsibilities and running multiple businesses while also taking care of her 3 kids. Over time, she found that her friends and family were curious how she managed to juggle everything so efficiently. She discovered that outsourcing her busy work to virtual assistants freed up her time and allowed her to focus on the more important things. This realization inspired her to start a global staffing company that helps busy business operators like me become strategic business owners and free up their time. She currently lives in Philadelphia with her husband and 3 kids. And in addition to her global staffing company, she also runs multiple other companies, invests in real estate with her husband. Despite her busy schedule, she enjoys traveling, pickleball, which we were just talking about. We might need a little side lesson here in pickleball, skiing, and spending time with family and friends. Her ability to efficiently manage her time and delegate tasks has allowed her to pursue her passions and achieve success in both her personal and professional life. Wow, time management, delegation, efficiency. I know that these are huge, huge struggles for people. So let's start with kind of the emotion behind that. So we know that we're busy, we know that we need help, but there are a lot of us, myself included, that feel like we need, before we even can get started on the logistics of how to do this, we need permission. So let's talk about the emotion behind it.
Yeah, I think every person comes to this realization maybe too late, right?
Absolutely.
When we are very exhausted and maybe stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're being a little bit tough on our loved ones, right? Because when we're stressed, we tend to
Yep.
kind of, I don't know, see our loved ones and maybe see the frustrations of maybe somebody else not doing something. And again, that's another permission, right? We didn't allow ourselves to probably create that freedom of time through outsourcing, whatever it is. And then our loved ones are struggling, right? So sometimes for people who don't allow themselves to do that, especially people who are empathetic and they can process it easier through the eyes of their loved ones, I say do it for them at least. Start from your loved ones, and then you can gradually see that you're benefiting from this first and foremost. But if you're okay, you're caring and loving to your own self, just giving yourself the permission in a way that you do deserve that. In the end of the day, we earn money not to accumulate yet another thing, but probably enjoy life. And I know that a lot of people are switching to experiences more and more, time with family, friends, whatever it is, pickleball for me, right?
Yes.
And then so the keeping up with the Joneses is far gone. And at this point, people are trying to find time, right? We're all at the point where how can we buy more time? So I always encourage everyone to just think about that's your most valuable asset. Sometimes it's worth paying for it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't, that right there, time is your most valuable asset. So I have absolutely been guilty of that. I have found myself cleaning up dog poop in the yard, doing laundry, tasks that are, one, important. They do need to be done. I'm certainly not too good for those tasks by any means. However, while I'm doing those, I am not spending quality time with my children or even the dog or getting other work or passions done. So when you look at time and outsourcing, how do you help people see that value and how they can utilize that?
I would probably approach it in two different ways, right? Think about activities that bring you emotional capital
Mm-hmm.
versus draining you, right? So that would be probably my first exercise for anyone trying to think about everything that they outline in their day, right? I highly encourage anyone to just have a diary of what they're doing on a daily basis
Mm-hmm.
and almost reflect every single day what did I enjoy the most and what I drag my feet to do, right? And start
Yeah, so
outlining all of that.
start that's a great first starting step for people. What are all the tasks you do in a day and in a week that need to get done or that you're doing? And then rate them on your scale, the emotional capital versus draining. Oh, I love this. Okay, everybody get out a
Yeah.
notebook.
So use the emotional capital versus draining your energy as two columns. When you complete the list, try to allocate them. But I
Hmm.
also go a step further. Let's almost quantify it financially, right? And write down the tasks that take probably about $10 an hour, $20 an hour, whatever that smaller kind of dollar amount metric is for you. Would go
Hmm.
beyond the 20. And then the next column would be $200 an hour. And people will
Hmm.
be normally, well, there's something $75 an hour or something like 50. And it doesn't matter. What you're trying to do is you're trying to push these items into these two buckets.
Give us some
It,
examples, some practical
sure,
examples.
absolutely. So I don't know, let's say you're a busy family, you're a mom. I can relate because I'm a mom, right? So you need to schedule your whole family doctor appointments, certain follow-ups, orthodontics, whatever it is, right? You're a manager of your family. You need
Oh yeah.
to schedule lots of family gatherings, whatever it is. Well, a virtual assistant could be $5, $6, $7 now maximum that can help you organize your life, create a schedule, reminders. You don't even have to go full time, right? You can just maybe hire somebody for a project and help you
Hmm.
organize your life, right? Perhaps you're so busy every day. I think the biggest struggle for me and my husband, we do cook for our family, right? Majority of the time it's my husband, but his biggest question all the time is not even about cooking itself. It's about what to cook next, right? It's
Ah,
always
yes.
that
The age-old
train.
question, what's
It's
for dinner?
yeah, it's all over the same and every week, right? So I actually hired one time somebody online for a project and I said, I don't know, maybe I paid $100 for the whole project, but I said, these are the limitations in terms of the food sensitivities or allergies for our family. We're trying
Hmm.
to eat healthy and
Yep.
we're trying to maybe, our family prefers to cook actually every single day. We like fresh food. So
Yep.
then, based on those requirements, she created the whole kind of package for me. And I had a list of, I went by that list for a while. I mean, we're not using this anymore because, again, every family is changes in the taste and what we're doing. But that's one of the examples that could be in that $10 an hour bucket,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's
Now,
fantastic.
now the $200 an hour bucket could be, I don't know, let's say somebody owns a business
Hmm.
and perhaps you are the best closer on your team. Because
Hmm.
when you communicate with whoever you're talking to, you're that final step and you can close that deal. Well, if that equates to, and I bet most of the time when people are selling, $200 may be a minimum, right? That could be $10,000. So
Right.
that is worth your time. So that's where you
Absolutely.
want to like that probably you want to outsource the last, right? You want to probably fire yourself from the most important task the last. So you
Right.
start with admin, any type of work related. I'm even talking about probably tutoring too. Sometimes kids are coming to us for help with, I have ninth graders, they're doing advanced math, and I love math and I'm great at it, and I'd love helping my kids. Sometimes it's energy draining only because
Hmm.
it's that dynamic that you have with your own children. They're
Yes.
not looking at you as teachers. So they're kind of frustrated the way that you explain because we've learned a different way. And I'm like, I don't care. That was maybe $40, $50 an hour bucket for
Yeah.
me, but I gladly outsourced it to a tutor.
Oh yeah, when especially during the pandemic when a lot of us found ourselves homeschooling in some way or another, I learned math differently. And so with the Common Core and they have to draw lines and circles and I don't know, do an interpretive dance, that's not how I learned math.
Exactly.
And there, we were butting heads because we were getting to the same answer, but with different methods. And I'm like, I need help with this. Not that I
Yes.
can't do it, but this is not going well.
Absolutely. And it could be anything for kids related. Honestly, I love outsourcing them being taught by somebody else, by a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And me then spending my time with my children doing what we love doing, right? So we just talked about tennis lessons before we jumped in. My husband and I were strategic about what lessons we want them to go for because they don't care when they're exploring. They don't care what they're going to be going after. But we love tennis. Now we love pickleball and we love skiing. So we send them for skiing. Trying myself to teach my kids how to ski it was just a non-starter, right? They were
Right.
always frustrated. But it doesn't even take that long. You send them a few lessons for a season, they're good. They're off their go, and we love skiing. They love skiing now. We're doing that together.
Yes. So you're taking those tasks. So you're not taking the thing that you're magical at. For the example, if someone's a closer, don't take that off your list. That's the important thing. That's your income, that's your passion, that's where you're a superstar. But there's a whole lot of other stuff in your day that you don't need to be a superstar at.
Absolutely.
And that's really where this is coming in.
Yeah, and I could even add to that list, don't ever outsource something that other people think is outsourceable. What I mean by that is every one of us has something special that we like doing secretly that we don't advertise, but for
Ah,
somebody that could be washing dishes. Yes, there are people like that. For me,
mhm.
every time we have a snowstorm, I'm the first one with a shovel. I love doing that.
I love shoveling. Oh,
Okay,
that's
so you're
so
my buddy.
funny.
You're my shoveling buddy.
Yes, and people always thought that was so weird, like it was a punishment as a kid. I love it.
Yes, it's fresh air. I love snow. A
Mhm.
lot of adults kind of hate it when it's most, I'm still giggly like a kid whenever it's snowing. In our area, it's kind of less and less often. So
Yeah.
I would never outsource that because I love doing that. Mowing grass,
Hmm.
we have so many people in our family that can do that. And for our kids, it's an opportunity to earn money. We,
Hmm.
we don't outsource that. Had we had people that just our kids didn't like it and didn't enjoy it, my husband or I wouldn't enjoy it, we'd probably outsource that too. But I also want to encourage everyone to think about you don't have to outsource everything. Not everything again, don't make that a point, almost like keeping up with Joneses again. Don't make it a point of outsourcing everything in your life because there are things that some people do enjoy, others don't. So whatever you still enjoy doing, and that brings you that emotional capital, as I said in the beginning, by all means, keep on doing that. Even if it's washing toilets, right? Like some people
Right.
just like to be meticulously clean. So,
Well, there's all these like this trend for these satisfaction videos on YouTube, which and so it'll be like somebody steam cleaning a carpet and it'll have 10 million views. It's just so
right,
funny to me. But that result, I love planting vegetables and trying to grow, but I don't want to do, I have 2.5 acres. I don't have the time to mow it. So I
right.
outsource part of it, like that part, but not the garden part. So what I love what you're doing here is you're helping. So you've got the financial and time costs of something, but also how much you get the emotional capital out of it. So even if it's a low, somebody else could be doing it, but you love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
Yeah.
So you've got things that people love, of course, but then things that even if you love it, it's still taking up such an anchor in your day or your week. Laundry, house cleaning, those kind of things. So how do people go from this? So they started with the permission. Now they have written out an idea of what they're looking for. How do they now start taking the next steps to actually get it outsourced? Because some people say, I don't want to teach someone, it'll take longer than if I just do it myself. How do we get to that next, overcome those next barriers?
Absolutely. I think it just depends what you want to start with first, right? Is it something that you're doing at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that, again, kids teaching, whatever related to that? Or is it something that's relevant to your job? Is it something relevant to your business? Or maybe you want to just have some time to start a hobby or a side gig, right? So you want to probably highlight all the key areas of your life, and I would include health as part of that, right? Because
Mm.
sometimes we never think about it this way, but my husband and I tricked our system. Back when we were in Switzerland, we decided to hire a personal trainer to come to our house and train us, not because we couldn't train. He was showing us something that we could have watched on YouTube. It's the fact that was somebody at our house and we paid a lot of money for that. And we just like, oh, we better exercise, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
and that just probably kickstarted just a health routine for both of us. I think before we just, whether it's age or whether you kid yourself by saying, I bike, I walk, I'm kind of doing exercise, but there are certain points of your life where you like, I probably need to do something. There's a coin term I've heard, skinny fat is when you technically skinny, but you're behaving like a fat person because you're basically not doing anything for your health to sustain your kind of lifestyle. So I would identify key areas. It could be self-development, health, love relationships, business, work, whatever, children. Grab your key areas and ask yourself, what can I start with, right? Like, what's my passion area? Where am I drawn to first? And start with that. So, let's say you think about your household. The first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is cleaning, right? There's just an app for cleaning everywhere. Yeah, there's just so many apps, right? Go on Facebook group and ask your neighbors. And think about it, you actually helping someone. There is a business somewhere who wants to clean your house. Give them your opportunity to clean your house. And if you're like me, an OCD freak who likes to have everything a certain way, a certain style, maybe you'll have to go through a couple. But it's
Mm,
doable. It's like an interview, right? You give people a chance. You tell them what you like and don't like. And if you are a person that's very timid and doesn't like to provide feedback, well, replace your cleaner with somebody else. Otherwise,
okay.
just tell them, right? And then they're going to clean it the way that you, at this point, I don't even know where my cleaner cleans, right? I'm just so oblivious because it's been so many years. I know everything's clean whenever she comes, right? Our second part for us personally was outsourcing some sort of like additional household work or chores. So we have a house manager. She comes in, she comes in couple of days a week for a few hours. She does laundry for us. She does light cooking preparation. She folds laundry and folds. We have three boys, so it's always messy. So she
Oh
kind of
yeah.
picks
And
up stuff
constant
after them.
laundry.
Yes, constant laundry. And what I like is I told her, can you help me to just whatever you feel like is messy, just go to that area and just like make it pretty, right?
Yeah.
So I just gave her a general idea and then now it's out of my head, right? Sometimes you kind of pass by your kid's room or your room or kitchen, something just irritates out of you and like, oh my
Mm,
gosh, I don't have time, but I really want that part to be cleaner or that pantry that I promised myself to clean for months and months again.
yep.
She just quietly comes in and does it. And for me, it's always a surprise. What's next? I'm opening my drawers. Everything is just folded nicely. I'm opening my pantry and it's amazing, right? So I know you're all worth those surprises in life, right? And just give yourself a present of that. And it's not that even that expensive. I think we pay maybe $20 an hour. And if you
Mhm.
think about it on the scale of your lifetime, and
Yes.
we invite her for maybe, I don't know, 3 or 5 hours every day. I can't remember how many hours exactly, but it's not that much. It's
Right.
totally worth it. And for us, it removes additional stress level. And she's now away in Romania. And for a month, we're without her. And I can definitely
I
feel
bet you
what
feel the
that extra
difference.
time is.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a difference. So that could be it for you guys. If it comes to, let's say you want to start a side gig,
Hmm.
right? For myself personally, I was on an assignment in Switzerland, so I had a full-time job, but I also wanted to start a supplemental business. My
Oh,
husband and I were investing in real estate, and I wanted to start a wholesaling company.
nice.
Well, in
I love
order to
how for you
generate,
a little side hustle is starting a wholesale
oh,
company.
right. It was a side hustle for me, for
Oh
sure.
Lord.
So I started slow, kind of started, yeah, sign up for a mastermind, learn a bit, and I kind of realized, well, I have to drive marketing with some sort of lead generation, right? So that could
Hmm.
be texting, cold calling, whatever it is, but somebody has to call them. Yeah, I don't have time for that. And I've heard
Right.
about virtual assistants, and I'm like, what is this? That's interesting. So I started learning more about that topic. And I was able to hire two people for cold calling who were generating leads for me. And all I had to do, my timeline was perfect. That by 5 or 6 p.m., I was done with my work. We had dinner. We went for a walk with the family. I'd come back home, maybe at around 8 or 9 o'clock. I would start working on my side project. But by then, all I had to do is review all these leads and just evaluate who was appropriate for my business and just maybe had 3, 5, 10 calls. That's it. And I just
And some
follow
people
up and let them.
hate cold calling, and you found, but there are people out there who love it. Just like with any other tasks, you found people who were ecstatic to cold call people
Yeah.
and, and saved you from having to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I had these folks for a long time. My business needs evolved over time. We switched marketing channels and I was able to easily part ways with one person because they were only just cold calling. I was easily able to transition my other person into a different type of marketing person and lead management and whatnot. So just the opportunities are endless. And if you want to start trying with something small, you can always hire somebody part-time. I wouldn't recommend hiring anyone less than 20 hours a week, but in 20 hours, somebody can do so much for you, right? And I remember the time when I actually split a VA with somebody else for just personal needs. And I can give you some examples what
Mm-hmm.
I done personally with VA supporting my kind of personal family needs, not related to business at all. I already mentioned all the scheduling and appointments, right? Calendar and email management. That's a big one. I don't know if about you, but I really don't like shopping, especially for presents and coming up with ideas. And all I
Yeah.
had to do is just talk through. I have my immediate family is 5 of us, parents, blah, blah, blah. Like I just had to call out everyone that I know that I want to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate. So when Christmas comes, everyone is taken care of, right? So there's a feature on Amazon. It's called Amazon Teens. You
Mm.
can basically give that access to your VA and they can do everything for you on Amazon and deliver to different addresses or whatever you want them to have. And all you have to do is just click yes. There's a text message that comes in when they send you something for approval. So you just say yes, and that's it. And somebody's getting a present across the country, and I wasn't responsible. I'm just accepting the thank yous for all the presents that they're getting. And it's just kind of this is not, I know that a lot of people enjoy buying presents. This is not me. For me, it's an ordeal, and I'll probably get stuck in selecting something, blue or red or this and that. So I'm making decisions pretty slow. So that was really helpful for me. And one of the other kind of personal to me that happened a year ago, my father was sick with cancer, and we knew that he had a few days left.
Mm.
And in my culture, we don't talk about death until somebody's dead. So
Okay.
we kind of delay the process of talking about this until something happens. It's just notion of you believe until the very last moment, until the very last breath that something miracle can happen. So you don't want to bring in the conversation part of that. So I didn't want to deal with anything related with, once my father is no longer here, what do we do? I don't even know what to do, right?
Right.
So I called my VA and I said, listen, I'm in such a fog, right, myself right now. I don't want to even think about it, but can you create like an Excel file for me where you just call every funeral house in our area and ask them what is the procedure? I know
Mm-hmm.
that my dad wanted to be cremated. How much does it cost? What needs to be done? Add their ratings and reviews. Is it
Mm-hmm.
5 stars? Is it 4.5? Whatever. And something else I can't remember. I just remember that on the day when it happened, obviously very emotional moment for our whole family.
Of
But you
course.
have to move on. You have to do stuff, right?
Yes.
So it's on the day off. There's just so many things that you have to do. Nobody's going to be shopping around for better price option or better rating and review. Is that the best funeral house? If you've never done it before too, that's, so frustrating. So I just opened up that Excel file. I sorted it by maybe highest rated, location, price. That's it. And I had 30 options in there. Somebody else did that work for me. And it took him maybe a day or maybe half a day, but it didn't take me my emotional health to call somebody and say what needs to be done. I wasn't even ready. So by
Yes.
then, I just called one place and they took care of everything. And it's just such a nice thing to know that it meant so much more for me in that moment than paying my VA, whatever, the $5, $6 an hour. It
Yes.
was worth millions of dollars for me in that moment because somebody took away my pain that I didn't have to deal with that. So
Yes.
I'm just going through my personal experience just because I feel like people can relate more when you live through something and not just theoretical. But I wanted to
Yes.
share all of these with you guys because hopefully that helps.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a lot of people that are taking care of ill family members, managing a household. And I really loved that point that you made because yes, there is a literal dollar cost, whether it's a VA that's $5 to $6 an hour or an in-person that's $20 an hour. And that sounds a little bit like a barrier to people, but it's not just what you recoup in literal dollars. Think of that emotional burden it took off you. Or if you're not staring at the pantry wanting to strangle your teenager because they made it a mess again, it's it's priceless in terms of what it's taking off of you.
Absolutely. It's like a magical fairy that's always there. And that you can, I don't know, concierge line or whatever you want to call it, right? But just knowing that it's always there, it's almost like being a child and knowing that your parents are there to support you no matter what, right? But
Mm.
now you grew up, you went through adulting, and now
Oh,
you're the one
it's the
who's
worst.
responsible.
Whoever said this was fun, they lied.
Exactly. I just recently watched, I don't know, this funny reel for it's related to and I'm like I'm a feminist at heart, but I can relate to that video so much. A woman on the video goes, "For that woman who fought for our rights, or women who fought for our rights to work," she's like,
Yeah,
I love that video because
like
it's just
crying
so
as you're on
priceless.
your way into work.
Yes.
Um, so that is super funny. I definitely feel that some days. Um, but so I imagine for people listening, so say for instance you're considering that your loved one might need an assisted living or a memory care, they could make a spreadsheet of all the places you're not. Because to me, that sounds exhausting. Making spreadsheets, I know my sister's boyfriend, that brings him joy. That's one of his favorite things in life. The second something starts, he's like, I got a spreadsheet for that. I don't love it. I don't want to do that
Right.
and to do all that research. But for someone to just, as you're going through that stressful decision, hand me that would be just, oh, to be glorious.
Yeah. And whether you doing some sort of, I don't know, college selection, right? Or
Mm.
classes for your child for next year, you're supporting them going through that process. I can just think of so many things. We're doing research on a daily basis, right? We're making decisions on daily basis, what to buy, even like shopping, personal shopping, right? I actually hired it's not a personal shopper. She basically via Zoom
Uh-huh.
evaluated my wardrobe. She did ask me to take lots of pictures. So that was a little bit annoying. I wish somebody can come into our house to do that. But there are options for that too. I knew that. But I just really like her. She was recommended by somebody else. But I gave her pictures of my wardrobe and that works together. So she created capsules for me and
Nice.
send me pictures of what works with each other based on my body type and whatnot. And that's that again, you're outsourcing that mental capacity because I don't know if you're going through this. Sometimes for me, it's hard. I open up my wardrobe and I'm like, I don't
No
know.
idea what to wear. Oh, it's terrible. That I don't, whatever that gene is or that thing where people love to put together outfits or know how to shop, I am double deficient in that. So, yeah, after this, you'll have to send me that person's info. But so really the possibilities are endless. We have so much decision density during the day. And it's well, in my field, it's well known. I'm an ER doc. I'm making literal life and death decisions hour after hour after hour. And there's some decision fatigue. And then you come home after that. And the last thing I want to do is decide what to wear or what's for dinner. I think that's where that
Yes.
whole age old, I don't want to plan another dinner because by the end of the day, you're tired of making decisions.
Yes, yes. You just want to be done with that, right? You just want to come home and everything is decided for you. Think about also travel. I know that in every group, let's say if you're traveling with group of family or maybe friends, there's this
Mm-hmm.
one person who just enjoys planning everything for everyone.
Yes.
And I kind of used to be that person, but I realized I actually once went on vacation to Greece with my friends, and two of them were Greek. So
Oh,
obviously they were guiding us through, and I just got a flavor of that. And I said, hold on a second. Are you saying I just wake up and I just show up a place where you told me to show up and all the best restaurants to go and all the great spots? That was amazing. I
nice.
actually, for the first time, had a vacation. I didn't know
Right.
what vacation was up until that moment. So think about not even necessarily, I know there are a lot of people using agencies, right,
Mm-hmm.
for booking their vacations, but we never think beyond that. We don't think once we're
Yeah.
on at the spot, what are we doing? What's next, right? And this year we went to Brazil for a carnival, and all I knew we're going for a carnival, right?
Right,
But
right, right.
there are a lot of kind of decisions. We went with three other couples, and who wants to go where, right? So maybe there could be an arbitrator that can just say, let me collect all of your decisions or create the maybe voting mechanism for all of you guys every single day and like vote for the restaurant, vote for the place to go, blah, blah, blah. All we do is just vote. It's done.
Yeah. Oh, oh my gosh. And that way you're saving, just like I always say, we should have, just like our phone has a battery indicator, we should have a social battery indicator so people can tell like when we're done peopling, but a decision battery. And so by having some of that stuff, even if your VA comes to you and says, okay, I did all this research, here are the three best, and then you're using your decision energy to pick that one versus research 20 things you wouldn't have wanted anyway.
Right. Exactly.
So, so this is amazing. So there's different ways. So there are some people who are listening who are immediately like, yes, I want a full-time person. Yes, I want a part-time. Maybe they're not sure how to fill that hours, but there's also project-based. So can you just briefly run us through different ways you can interact with a VA?
Yeah, absolutely. Project based, I'm thinking about of something that requires a specialist and you probably don't need them for a while, right? So I already mentioned somebody who is like your personal quote unquote shopper, right? So somebody who
Yes.
can create a wardrobe for you. I personally had to work on my website and we were restructuring our website. So I hired a team for that came in and created a website for me. And I would say project work is normally a better quality work, right? Because
Okay.
it's a subject matter expert that only does that one thing
Yep.
and it happens once and you don't engage with them for a while, right? So think about real estate and realtor, right? You reach out to them, they help you buy a house and you're done. You don't see them for a while until you need your next house. So even in website creation, nowadays technically you can do everything yourself. Do you want to? Do you want
No, I
to,
tried that.
select colors for your website and fonts and whatnot? Again, it's up to you. Enjoy it, go do it. You don't want it, don't do it. I realized that I went even further down. Instead of going and just saying, well, I need a website and one man show, just do it all for me. I realized, well, if you split it even further out into somebody creates a branding for me, right? I just need a brand guide. What are my colors? What am I sticking with, right? What are my fonts? What are, some designs that we like? So I work with one person just on brand. And then I use that brand design and went to my web development team. Well, my web team also had somebody who can holistically understand the vision and
Hmm.
translate to the team. We had somebody who was just basically coding, creating everything that was done by designer. And there was a designer who used the brand guide and my vision and
Hmm.
some translation from the manager of the team. And then she was working on the design of the website. So she was working in Adobe, and then the designer was working in WordPress or whatnot, right? So that's just one of the examples where you would need a project work. Once you're done, you're done. You may
Yeah.
need to keep them for some sort of maintenance or whatnot, but you're done and you don't need them anymore, their expertise, because going forward, you're going to be probably just updating your website here and there. So occasionally I just reach out for their support and it's only one person, it's not the whole team. So that's one of these examples. I can think about nutrition could
Hmm.
be one of the other example for project work. Anything else where you think about a one-time engagement for you, Jamie, too, what we're helping you to with Kajabi, right? You don't
Yep.
want to learn a new system. You don't want to learn that new system from scratch. You also don't want to keep a professional on staff for a long time, right?
Right.
You're going to continue to use Kajabi, but for those who doesn't know what Kajabi is, right? It's think of that as a host, a course host platform or CRM or marketing tool, whatnot. And you don't need a professional at their higher rate to be on staff with you all the time. You want them to create everything from start to finish and then
Hmm.
bring in maybe an additional admin VA who will support you going forward, right? So I always try to separate all the work that I have and I want to outsource. And I always ask myself a question, is this a project work or is this an ongoing work, right? And
Hmm.
whatever need requires just a massive expert to take massive action and create something from start to finish that I don't want to do, I normally understand that I'll probably pay them more when it
Yeah.
equates to an hourly rate, whatnot. But the good thing about it, I don't have to pay them on a continuous basis too, right?
Yeah.
I'm done with
Like your
them
real
once I
estate
pay for the
agent.
project.
You're not paying them 20 hours a week for the rest of your life. They do
Exactly.
the house, they get their commission, and you're done.
Exactly, right. But then again, if I need a continuous work financially, it's more reasonable for me hiring somebody full time or part time, whatever, but on staff with me, because then it just makes sense because
Mhm.
they do whatever. Like we have a bunch of recruiters, for example, right, in my team. So for me, it makes sense to keep them on staff.
Yeah. So, what advice do you have for people who are maybe a little bit uncomfortable giving feedback, either whether it's project based or your ongoing person? If you're like, this isn't exactly how I want it, how can you help our listeners get a little bit better at that?
Absolutely. I consider myself a person who learned to be better at this, right? It's
Mm,
a work in process. There are some people that just they have a wit on the spot, right? They know what to say right there and then. My husband is a great example of this
mhm.
with amazing sense of humor. You don't have to wait. He's just
Yes.
there was saying the right
Yep.
thing at the right moment. I'm not like that. So obviously for personalities like me, you may be experiencing, I don't like what they did, but how do I say that? And you
Hurt
like
their
moan this in your
feelings,
head and you're like,
hurt the
I should have
relationship.
said this. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So like I should have just said that. Maybe I should have. So I think it's a good thing for you to actually start hiring somebody because in the end of the day, you got to get to the point of no return that you're so uncomfortable with not saying this. The pain of not saying something is so much more than the pain of continuously suffering through that, whatever, and you're not seeing that. And reality is, you're going to be responsible for somebody's else's kind of life in a way and I always turn it around, right? And I say my mojo is hire slow, fire fast. Well, people feel uncomfortable, like but I'm firing, like that. It has such a negative connotation. And I say, you're setting them free. They're not
Mhm.
great at what they're doing with you, for you, whatever it is. The task that you provided them to do, they're just like it's not a great fit for them. Let them be free. Let them find somebody that actually fulfills their life. And all of a sudden, they're like, oh, well, when you put it this way. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, same thing with feedback. If we're oblivious and we'll never know, it's almost like I'm always like, think about it this like husband and wife relationship, right? Well, men and women are so different. And sometimes we think, well, you have to think the same way, right? Like, it was obvious. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't because we're just so different, right? So, same
Mhm.
thing with your employees or your VAs, whatnot. I always say it has to be just in time feedback. It cannot be a day later. It cannot be an hour later. It has to be just in time feedback, right? And whatever it is, it could be a praise. It doesn't have to be a negative feedback, but
Yeah, there you
you
go.
gotta provide
Start
that
strengthening
feedback.
that feedback muscle with some praise, appropriate
Exactly.
praise.
Absolutely. And think of yourself as a teacher at the moment is that you're not, if you're going to say something that this area needs a development, I'd like for you to do something different. This is the KPI that we are striving for. And always go back and put it in a question format for them. Listen, we were aiming for, I don't know, 10 closed deals per day, and we only got two. What do you think is wrong? And all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, it doesn't put a blame on them, but it makes them think about what really was wrong, right? Next question could be, how do you think we get to the 10? Right? And sometimes it's a reality check for you as a business owner too. Maybe 10 is not possible. Right.
Mm,
So maybe let's check around and maybe initially we set a very ambitious goal that's maybe unattainable. Let's make it fair. Right. Or maybe if a person is trying to come up with kind of excuses or whatnot, you easily can catch that and say, well, our goal is 10. Do you think that could be feasible for you going forward? And that could
nice.
be a start of a conversation of maybe that's not the right job for you, right? And in my business, I have a luxury of if I spot a great talent, I can probably use their zone of genius and allocate it to something else because I do
Mhm.
have a need for other activities besides recruiting. We have marketing, whatnot, admin support. So sometimes I can just see that this person, even though they applied for this specific role, it's just not in their nature. They actually enjoy much better to be in an admin role rather than a sales role, whatever it is, right? And I can sometimes shift things around and allocate. But if you only need one person, you only need them to do admin stuff, and they all they care about is talking to people on the phone. Well, that's not the right fit for you. And it's okay just asking them, do you think that you enjoy more maybe talking to people? Is that your perfect day? And they're like, yes. And then you let them go as friends. And maybe you can even say, listen, I can even give you a reference for somebody else, but not in this role. In this role, you're probably not going to be great. So, and I also talk about the positive feedback too. If somebody is doing a great work for you, you want to praise them, right?
Mm.
And we're talking about virtual assistants. So a majority of the time you hire them from countries that the developing countries in five, six, $7 an hour. They're pretty happy for the job that they have, right? So
Oh, sure.
sometimes people have this
Yeah.
notion, how can you do that to other people? You're paying them so low. A lot of my folks make more than lawyers, doctors, teachers, people working for government. They make way more. And sometimes they carry the whole family with their job. So I don't take it lightly. I understand that I'm providing the value for some, and it's not even one person, it's the whole family that I'm providing value, right? So I'm always thinking about that in this regard. But coming back to the feedback, if they're doing something amazing, whether it's a bonus or occasional, I know my team sometimes pulls like a really hard week when we have a lot of people that we need to source for. And just an example, like one of my team members last week, his wife ended up in the hospital. She's
Mm.
pregnant and she needed to be observed. And they have probably like private medical stuff, whatever that they have to pay for. And I just, whenever he sent me an invoice, a traditional invoice, I just added an additional, whatever, $25, $50 on top of that. That should take
Nice.
care of, if not everything, but part of the medical bill. For me, it's nothing. For them, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
So I know that he did a great job. So I just, hey, John, I just added something extra on top. And they're like, oh my
Wow.
gosh, thank you so much. This is amazing. I'm going to go tell my wife, right? So thank you from both of us. So there's just a lot of folks don't even know that life exists outside of United States, and a lot of people actually would benefit from you hiring them.
Yes. So we have the benefit of removing a lot of emotional burdens and unnecessary kind of lower level decisions. And we're giving somebody work that they can feel proud of and do while we're easing the stuff off of us. That's why I was so excited. Like, that's why I wanted to bring you on in the first place, because this whole concept of outsourcing, it feels like such a win.
Yeah, no matter how you look at it, it's a win-win-win, right? And I always talk about when I talk with our customers, this is interesting. They ask me a question when they're trying to navigate what type of services are you guys offering, right? Because we're essentially like a recruiter,
Yeah.
and bringing a value, adding an employee that works remotely for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think about this as an oil change. In theory, there are a lot of people that can change their oil themselves.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Do you want to do it? A
Nope.
lot of people don't. If I tell you a lot of people clean their own houses, you probably say, yeah, I can still clean my own house. And then you probably would be evaluating, is it worth it or not? But the cost of replacing your own oil versus time you spend and how you're going to be doing that, and you have to have a special place so you can go under or whatever it is, it's just not worth it. And a lot of people can relate to that and understand it. They don't even question that.
Yeah.
So I want to always challenge people back and say, what is that oil change in your life, in everything that you do,
Mm.
right? Because oil change is probably the easiest example, especially for women.
Mm-hmm.
Heck no, I'm going to be doing oil change. There's just no way. Maybe
Right.
some guys that are mechanical and they like cars and whatnot. Maybe there's like, oh, I'm going to go change my own oil. But other than that, a lot of people think of this as a just no brainer. You don't even think that this
Yeah.
is a thing that I do. I pay for that and I'd get my car back.
Yeah, I'm gritty even, and I have no interest in the time it's going to take. It's not even the mess involved or anything. I will just, you pull up, they change it, you're still in your car doing something on your phone or whatever, and then you're done with it. So yeah, oil
I think
change is
that
such a
the
good
whole
example.
life is essentially like remove the whole money aspect out of this.
Mm.
We're all like people in the whole world live in this commune essentially, right? Where we exchange what we're good at and our
Mm.
services, right? And we hire others for those services, right? So if you have a W-2 job, you are being hired for your services, right? Because you're amazing at whatever you do. So I'm always thinking about this as we're exchanging services and helping each other out, right? It's just big family.
Yes. No, I love it. The woman who cleaned for me for years, she said that she had a little bit of OCD and high life stress, and she got to take that out on the job by getting that. This wasn't even a joke. It got a huge satisfaction out of cleaning,
Yeah.
which was amazing. There's whatever need you have that you've decided on your emotional capital is low and the cost that you want to outsource, there is somebody who actually wants to do that. And connecting is the way to
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Well, where can people find you? If there, I know some people out here own businesses or even side hustle, like you were talking about, that want to utilize. What I love is that you have options. So people who want to take a course, you teach a course, so then you can take it on the website and then go out yourself and find your person. And you have the done for you services, which I love. I fully outsourced my outsourcing to.
Yes.
How can people find you and interact with you?
Well, they can go to outsource your tasks and look through the services that we provide. As you mentioned, we do offer a course. That's how I started.
Mhm.
And the great thing about the course right now is that we offer this at any price that you can pay, right? So it works with any income level. If you're at the point where you're just exploring, you want to understand how to hire yourself, because honestly, again, as an oil change, everything can be done by
Yes.
yourself, right? Anything and everything. So it's all about your time and whether you like doing that, whether you feel confident, but the course is teaching you how to do it comfortably within an hour. Essentially, after you watch the course, you'll be able to start sourcing virtual assistants. And based on the feedback that we're having from our customers who took the course, our good friend Allison, you know her, right? So for her
Oh yeah,
salon,
yeah.
whenever she posted, she had 80 applicants, and her VA is still with her till this day, 3, 4 years down the road. So the course is fairly easy. I don't have any fluff in there. It's just very down to the point. Copy, paste,
Yes.
do this, take that. And then we also offer sourcing services. Obviously, I have a team. We've learned how to source,
Hmm.
you know, amazing VAs. So we offer that solution as well. So whatever you guys are ready for, feel free to reach out through outsourceyourtask.com. Any type of service besides the course probably would get you to connect with me. I'm very personable. I love talking to business owners and really understand what drives them because we typically try to cater to a personality of a business owner too, trying to understand who they're looking for. And more often than not, I get on the call and I feel like sometimes as psychologists or psychiatrists or whatnot, but folks come in and they're like, I think I need X. And sometimes we end with Y. And it's okay because we've done it so many times. And I see it now because talking with so many business owners, I can see the progression of anyone's life. And whether you're just
Yes.
starting out and you have no product, nothing else, or maybe you're in the middle of that, or maybe some people come to me that already have a bunch of VAs, right? They completely understand what skipping a few steps and they know exactly who they're looking for. Even then, sometimes we're trying to navigate and understand who they have on their team and how
Hmm.
they can probably reallocate the resources better because sometimes it's great to promote from within. Other times it's great to bring a specialist and not to promote from within because you can upgrade your level to the next steps. I love talking to people about their business situation and based on that kind of give them reflection and some advice. And more often than not, we end up with a slightly different solution that they thought they started with.
Yes. Well, and it helps for people to talk it out. And then sometimes what you're looking for, like in my instance, I was looking for a unicorn that does both this kind of creative work and this kind of administrative task. And sometimes that's not somebody's area of passion or expertise. So having a person who's great at this and a separate person who's great at this can actually make a huge difference in the outcome that you get.
Absolutely. It's almost like jack of all trades, master of none, right?
Yeah.
The closest to that I can think about would be like an executive virtual assistant or admin virtual assistant that can do a lot of different things and a lot of different tasks, but you do have to assume that they're going to be at a surface level skill
Mhm.
set wise, right? So they can manage your emails, they can do your research, they can schedule your doctor appointments, whatever it is, but they're not going to design a website for you, right? They're
Right.
not going to be a marketing specialist for you, right? So there's just a level of understanding when it comes to that. And occasionally people think, oh, just I'll hire one VA and they're going to run my whole business. And sometimes I have to get it down to the point of, well, you as a business owner really need to understand your business first, right? You need to understand what needs to be done in order to even provide that guidance, right? So I always be cautious too and advising folks to If you don't have that start to finish vision, right, maybe take a break, maybe take some time before you even hire somebody, because you do have to provide guidance. There is responsibility on you as a business owner to provide that guidance for them. And that also very helpful, because there is a notion that somebody's going to be saving me, right? And it's almost
Yes.
like on the airplane, right? You
Yep.
gotta put the mask on yourself, and then you have to help somebody else. So
Yep. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. So much great value here. So many great ideas and tips. And for anybody who is listening who has not really outsourced anything, I hope this really expanded your view of what is possible and the benefits that you get, just in addition to the dollars paid in emotional capital, in time. Like Anna said at the beginning, that our time is the most valuable asset. And how you want to spend that will then help determine where you want to allocate your money and who can help you.
yes, absolutely.
I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We'll have links to your website in the show notes. And I can't say how much I appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This topic is so near and dear to my heart. I'm so
Yes.
passionate about this. And anytime I hear feedback from somebody saying that, oh my gosh, I finally took that vacation, or oh my gosh, I'm growing tenfold, that's the music to my ears. So thank you so much for having me. I love sharing about this topic.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Anna, for sharing your incredible insights with us today. And thank you for being here. As we wrap up, let's recap some of the key takeaways from this excellent conversation with Anna Lee. Here are 6 things for you to remember. Number 1, permission to outsource. Anna highlighted the emotional aspect of giving ourselves permission to outsource tasks. Many of us feel the need to handle everything ourselves, but outsourcing can free up time for more valuable activities. Number 2, identifying key areas. It's essential to identify key areas in your life where you can benefit from outsourcing, whether it's personal tasks, professional responsibilities, or a combination of both. This allows you to focus on what truly matters and where you excel. Number 3, emotional capital. Anna introduced the concept of emotional capital, tasks that bring joy and those that drain energy. By focusing on activities that enhance your emotional well-being, you can achieve a more balanced and fulfilling life. Number 4, project-based outsourcing. For one-time tasks or specialized projects, consider hiring experts on a project basis. This ensures high-quality results without the need for long-term commitments. Number 5, effective delegation. Learning to delegate effectively involves providing clear instructions and feedback. Anna shared that even tasks as personal as managing a wardrobe or planning a vacation can be outsourced, allowing you to focus on higher priority activities. And lastly, number 6, practical examples. From managing household chores to handling business tasks, Anna's practical examples illustrate how outsourcing can significantly reduce stress and increase efficiency. If you found today's discussion valuable and are interested in setting and achieving your own goals, we have a special free gift for you. Download the Smarter Goals worksheet by clicking the link in the show notes. This will help you create and follow through on your goals. Thank you for tuning in to the Navigating Hope podcast. Stay connected with us on social media and share your feedback. We look forward to bringing you more inspiring and practical advice in our next episode. Until then, stay well. Thank you for tuning into Navigating Hope with me, Dr. Jaime Hope. It has been an honor to navigate the realms of health and wellness with you today. Remember, in the journey toward a healthier life, knowledge is your compass. If you enjoyed our time together, please share, like, and subscribe to Navigating Hope. Join us next week where we'll continue to empower your health journey, arming you with the wisdom to navigate life's challenges and keep the emergency room in your rearview mirror.